Quick impromptu video here. I had to do this. I am currently in Paris. I'm not going to Paris. I'm not going to France. I'm at the airport. I'm awaiting a layover. I'm traveling from Paraguay back to my home in Dubai. And the news just came out yesterday. Matter of fact, Pink Firefly's mom just texted Pink Firefly about this morning. That's how I heard about it, saying, oh my God, is this going to affect your lifestyle, you guys? The United States government has just declared 80% of all the countries on the planet Earth as a level 4 warning advisory, meaning it's a do not fly list. These are countries that they recommend you don't go to because they are dangerous. This is the category of countries like South Korea, okay, for example. 80% of the entire planet, including many countries that are safer than the United States and have less of a COVID problem like the United States. Countries like Uruguay. Panama's on there? Philippines? What? The United States federal government is now saying you should not travel to 80% of the world. You can still go to these countries. They'll let you go. At the moment, they'll let you go. They're saying you shouldn't go. At the moment. One of the reasons I wanted to get multiple passports, and when I started working on this many years ago, and when people ask, why would you want multiple passports? Americans, why would you possibly want multiple passports? I gave a number of reasons, and the primary reason was I want mobility. I don't want any individual country to tell me where I can travel and where I'm not allowed to travel. And so if I have another passport besides my American passport, I'll be able to have more mobility in case the United States government says I can't travel outside the country or to other countries. And you know what people said to me back then? Oh, that's ridiculous. The United States will never do that. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm not going to give my opinion in this video at all. You know my opinion. I'm going to just ask questions because it's part of my role here is to get you guys to think. Okay? Just going to ask some questions. Do you think this is accurate that 80% of all the countries on the entire planet Earth are more dangerous, either crime rates or COVID rates, than the United States? Do you think the United States federal government, the State Department in particular, the CDC, do you think they're being honest and rational about this and giving you the straight information on this stuff? Are you starting to understand why I moved out of the United States? Is that starting to penetrate? You starting to get the message why I did that? Why I got the hell out of that country? You starting to see why I did this? Do you understand that if you want freedom for your life, if that's an important thing for you, individual freedom, that the United States is not the country you need to live in? If freedom is important to you? Do you understand that? Do you understand that America today is not the America that I experienced growing up in the 1980s or that my dad experienced growing up in the 1950s? Do you understand when guys say, I would die for America, I need to fight for America, well, at least in America, I'm free. Do you understand when people say that, including many of you? Do you understand that you're referring to a country that existed many, many decades ago that doesn't exist anymore? Do you understand that the America of the 1980s, the 1960s, the 1910s, whatever time period you have in your mind, doesn't exist anymore? That country is long gone. Today's America is a completely different country. Do you understand that voting for people like Donald Trump is not going to fix any of these problems? I didn't say voting for Donald Trump wasn't fun. Yes, it was a lot of fun. I said, or I'm asking the question, do you understand that voting for Donald Trump or people like Donald Trump will not solve any of these problems? Because some of you are very bullheaded about this. Well, you know, it sucks now because of Biden. But all we have to do is put Donald Trump back in office in 2024 or whatever, and he'll fix everything. Or some other Republican. Do you understand that these things are going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, regardless of who you vote for and who becomes president and which party controls Congress and how many Twitter followers your favorite political pundit has on Twitter? Do you understand that this is the best it's going to get? This right now, the America right now is the best it's going to get. It's not going to get better than this. Do you understand that? I just want you to start thinking about this stuff. I don't know how much more data you need. There's a percentage of you in my audience who understand this, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but there's a lot of you in my audience who are very, very thick-headed about this. America is just going through a rough patch right now. It'll be fine. It'll turn around and get better than others. If we just vote for certain people, it'll get better. When Biden leaves office, it'll get better. If we just do X, Y, and Z, it'll get better. No. I don't know how much more evidence you need to start taking this seriously. because some of you think you don't need to make any changes in your life. I'm talking about you Americans who live in the United States. I mean, I won't even go to Europe right now. I won't even talk about that. But I'm talking about you Americans who live in the United States. Some of you think it's perfectly fine and it's not worth making any major changes. Others of you agree with me and understand what this means for the future of this country, but you're scared because you're doing a bunch of what ifs, which I've talked about in prior videos. I'll give you some what ifs. What if in a few years you won't be able to travel internationally if you're an American, or won't be able to travel to most of the countries of the world if you're an American? What if that? What if your America does collapse in the next 5 to 10 years? What if it does collapse while you're there? What if that? All these what ifs about what if you make a change. What about all the what ifs if you don't make a change? Now, I'm not saying any of these things will happen. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I'm not saying this stuff will happen. I'm not saying it'll collapse in 5 years. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what if. If you're going to ask yourself all these scary what ifs about making 5 flags changes in your life, international changes in your life, well, what if this and what if that? I think you need to start asking yourself what ifs about if you do nothing. What if you do nothing and things keep getting worse in your Western country, which is what's going to happen? Think.